everyone. Today we got to play Trek 12 Himalaya. So this is a roll and write where you're going on an adventure up a mountain. But before we get started, don't forget the subscribe button and the notification bell because board games are amazing, and that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana.
And you don't have to climb a mountain to go on an adventure with us.
No, you don't. You just get to pretend to.
Yeah.
All right, Randy, can you tell us a little bit more about this game from Pandasaurus?
Sure. This is a 2020 release. It's Board Game Geek rating is currently 7.0. Board Game Geek rank is 2073. It plays supposedly 1 to 50 players. I don't think it's practical to play 50 because there's not that many pages. I think, well, there may be 50 total on the pad. If you want to play it one time, you could maybe play it with 50 or make a lot of photocopies. 15 to 30 minutes in length, age 8 and up. It's probably about right. It wasn't that complex. Designed by Bruno Cathala and Corentin Lebrat. Art is by Jonathan Aconte and Olivier Derueteau. I probably mispronounced every one of those names. Published by Pandasaurus Games. MSRP for the base game is $29.95. Now, we did pick up an expansion that its MSRP is $19.95. They had a special deal at Origins where we could get this, I think, was $10. Card House currently has the base game for $20.49, but they don't have the expansion. Miniature Market has the base game for $21.99, but it's out of stock. And it has the expansion listed $17.99, also out of stock. So right now, the only thing I can see where there may probably other sites, but the ones we check, Card House has the base game for $20.49 if you're interested in it.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about quality of components. All right, you get 2 wooden dice. Nothing special here. You do get these beautifully illustrated pads of paper going up different kind of mountains.
But the pages are one-sided, so you're only going to use each one time, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. And then card quality, there's no linen finish. It's very slick. But as far as thickness, that's fine. Overall, I'm going to give this a 5.5.
Well, there's also in the box these envelopes that are sealed. These are, there's 2 ways to play this game, well, 3 if you count solo mode, but there's basically a one-time play for going up one mountain, or you can play a set of 3 mountains and do it as an expedition, and if you do that, you can unlock additional things. And I thought that was a cool idea. Yeah, as far as quality goes, I don't think there's anything outstanding here. The wood dice, they're pointy. They're not rounded at all. They look faded, which may be intentional, but it just kind of looks cheap. And the fact is the dice are 2 different sizes. So it just, there was, yeah. Yeah, I can't see giving this more than a 5.
Yeah, so moving on, let's talk about theme. You're going up a mountain, guys, and you're going on an expedition. That's it.
Yeah, it didn't really.
I mean, the artwork's fine. The artwork is good.
Yeah, it's okay, but there's nothing that felt thematic about it. There's a bunch of circles. You can fill them in any order, so you're not how you climbing the mountain.
Well, Mom said she was climbing down the mountain.
But yeah, you're not.
Because she owed. And then I said I just started in the middle.
Yeah. So when I say you can go in any order, you still have to place adjacent to ones that you already have in play.
Once you started.
You can start anywhere on the mountain, so you're not really climbing the mountain. So I just don't see anything really thematic about this at all.
I mean, the artwork's fine. I'm going to give this a 5.5 for theme. Yeah. It's there.
Yeah, and I didn't mention, but they've re-implemented the game with another skin instead of it being Amazon, or it's Amazon instead of the Himalaya. So they have a newer release that's Amazon, the same kind of concept. So yeah, literally you can re-theme this at your leisure, what you want it to be. Again, I don't see this as being outstanding in theme. I'm going to give it probably a 5 again. I just can't see anything going higher than that.
Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to the rulebook, Randy. What did you think about the rulebook?
There are 3 of them. One is the base rule book that teaches you how to do the concepts of the game, and this is for Trek mode, they call it, where you're playing just the one mountain, and it teaches you.
So we played that the first time, and then we played the expedition the second time, right?
Yeah. So the Trek mode takes you up one mountain, and it teaches you the basics of the game. It's a pretty straightforward gameplay, as we always say. But yeah, it effectively taught you the game. There wasn't really any confusion in it. The book is only 8 pages long, so it gets you into the game quickly, which is good for a game like this. Then you have the expedition manual, which this teaches you how to play if you're doing the expedition mode, where you're going to climb 3 mountains and potentially unlock some of the bonus content.
Of the cool stuff.
Yes. And it also introduces these assist cards, which give you little perks that you can use to help you through the mountain climb.
Now, I will say, we didn't get to open any of the envelopes, did we?
We opened one.
At the very last round.
We got to open one officially, one unofficially.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
You said
to
open it.
That's because it looked like, based on the iconography, that you could have, but once you actually read the icon
Randy lied
detail,
to me,
it was incorrect. Then the other book is the solo mode, and that one's only 4 pages long. We don't play solo. I didn't read through it, but it looks just as simple read as the others.
So giving it a score, you would rate it?
I'll give these probably an 8. I think they're fine. They're a little bland as far as the looks of them, but they work functionally, and they teach you the game in a very concise way. This game is not that complex. It's definitely a light game. It's not, going to be a difficult one to learn, especially if you're familiar with roll and writes.
Yeah. All right. So now talking about actual gameplay. So it doesn't really matter who rolls the dice, but typically we just went in turn order just because you're going to end up rolling the dice. Now, there's a couple of things you can do here. You can end up picking the lowest of the numbers, right? And if you do, you're going to mark off that particular column because you only get to have 4 of each kind of thing. Or you can have the higher one, so that's a column. Or you can have subtract. So I could say 5 subtract 1. You can't have negative numbers, so that would be 4. So I could end up using a 4 on my board. Or I could do a plus. 5 plus 1 is 6. The other one I could do is times. So 5 times 1 is 5. So depending on what I needed, I would then mark off that box in the corner. Because like I said, you only get 4 of each kind. And then you put it down on your notepad. Now, the first one, you could place it anywhere, but after that, they do have to be adjacent to each other. And then you're trying to complete either, it's a set collection, either you're going to do a run or you're going to do the same number. So it's very much like playing a deck of cards on here. Now, the only difference...
You can use the same number from a run. So if you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you could put a 4 next to the other 4 and also count it as part of your
4 set. Yeah. And then the other thing is something a little bit different, is that there are some of these maps that have these double circles in certain locations. Those have to be 6 or less because the terrain is very, very difficult. Okay, now, when I finish my game board, then I'm going to calculate scoring points. Now, again, like I said, we're going to be talking about each individual run. We will take the highest number and then plus 1 to each of the other circles that are connected to it.
Yeah, but you can only have a high of 12. So, because you can potentially get a lot higher by having a multiplication in this case, but you cannot put anything higher than a 12. If you have to take a higher number, that is automatically a frowny face.
Which is negative 3 victory points at the end of the game. All right, so you're going to take that series and you're going to do the math there, and you're going to do all of your series like that. And then you're going to do all the same kind of numbers. Okay, so you're going to put those in the little boxes here, and then you're going to take your longest run on your longest collection, or your largest collection. And for example, in this case, if I had a run of 6, I'd get 10 extra victory points. And if my biggest set collection was 4, I'd get 3 extra victory points, okay? So you're going to put those down. And then if you do end up playing with these cards and you don't use them, you get 3 victory points if you decide to turn them in at the end of the game. And then you subtract your sad faces, which again, you get by either placing a number higher in one of the double circles beyond the 6. If you end up not being able to get a number to attach to either a run or a set collection of any kind. Okay, so that's another frowny face that you'll get. So just kind of keeping that in mind as you play. There's many times where I end up wanting to continue my run, but for fear of not being able to match something up, I would take a number to do that. Then you add it all together and you get the score. Now, each little map has basically kind of, I would say, almost a difficulty rating about how many points you need to get. Now, this is the expedition mode.
It's only going to be relevant for expedition mode.
But it's kind of cool. It tells you how much you should be able to get on that particular map. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
As far as these cards go, they give you different perks. Some of them let you re-roll the die privately for your own use.
Now, how you get those are by connecting 2 zeros or 2 ones.
Or 2 twos.
Or 2 twos in the initial set.
And that's only in expedition mode you use these. And then some of them let you add on an additional plus. Some of them let you basically skip a number in the sequence so you can connect. It doesn't let you skip like 4 to 6, but it lets you bypass a circle to connect your 4 to a 5, which is useful. And just various different abilities like that help you throughout the game. So these are handy to have, but they're a pool in the middle of the table, and it's first come first serve on who gets them. And it's based on turn order around the table. So in the standard game, turn order is not really relevant at all. It is more relevant in expedition mode.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. Mom really liked this. She asked to play it again the next day.
Yeah.
So she really, really enjoyed it. I, on the other hand, was okay with it.
Well, I didn't really care for it at all in the base mode when we played just the Trek mode. I thought it was kind of bland and short and pointless. But once we played the expedition mode, I felt like that added enough to it to make it a decent game.
My thing is by the third one in expedition mode, I was done with that game.
It is repetitive. It's the same math over and over and over. So you're not, if you don't like math, this is probably not a good game for you because there's a lot of math in it, obviously.
I mean, we're just talking about subtraction.
Yeah, it's basic math.
Yeah, but again, it's, Mom really liked it. I'm glad she did.
Yeah.
Now, as far as me giving it a score, I'm at a 5, maybe 5.5. Where are you at?
I would have probably given it below a 5 from the Trek mode. With the added expedition mode and the curiosity of opening these, of course, granted, once you've opened them all, that's gone. Probably, I don't know what's in them, so I don't know what's going to enhance. But I'm probably more of a 6.5. I thought it was fine. I don't think it was a super exciting roll and write. It's not one of my favorites. But I think there's enough meat with the expedition mode. I enjoyed it. I wasn't like you, wishing it was over by the third one.
I was
fine with it.
Yeah, but then Mom loved it. Mom said she wants this and she wants to play it again. So I think this one's really depends on who you are.
Yep.
Hey, and that's cool. We're down with that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you had a blast today and come hang out with us again. Catch you guys later.
Bye.